Kind of a little bit, it's afternoon. So I'm usually a little different. I don't normally do this because I'm not a rah-rah guy, but I am going to wake you up a little bit. I'd like you to all stand up, please.
I thought I woke him up with all my...
You did.
Yeah.
Right?
This is a petition.
Come on.
This is Carl hasn't had his coffee and he needs to wake up.
Okay, so rub your hands together. Let's warm it up. Let's warm it up. Okay? And I'm going to count to 3. And on 3, we're all going to say yes. Nice and loud. We're going to freak Kelly out just a little bit, if that's okay.
Really loud, yeah.
Really loud. 1, 2, 3. Yes! Okay then. There we go. That's fine. She didn't even turn around? For goodness sake.
Turn around. Oh, gosh. Because they know you, Carl. They're like, oh, what is he doing in there?
She did walk out. We got her attention. So anyway, I'm Carl Eisenberg. I've been a realtor here in the Valley for 24 plus years. It'll be 25 in August. And if any of you were in the mastermind, you heard me say a little bit about this. I got into that thing. Hey, I've done this a long time. I'm really good at this. I'm going to do this, and this is great. Well, that's not true. Just because I've done this a really long time and I'm very experienced doesn't necessarily mean that I'm guaranteed the business. I'm not guaranteed anything. And last year at this time, I looked at my business, and I was sucking eggs. My business in 2023 was bad because I was so busy trying to do all these different things and figure out all these different things. I didn't stay focused on my personal production. Other things were great, but my personal production was not good. So I have a team. So how am I going to go to my team and say, hey, this is going to be great? Well, how do you know? Prove it to me. And I said, well, I better figure out what the playbook is, and I better go do that playbook, and I'm going to go to work. So I did that. And it's been a long year, okay? But the end result of that is my personal production is now 300% over where it was last year. So year-to-date versus year-to-date last year, 300%. I'm going to close at the end of May just like within a couple $100,000 of what everything that I did in 2023, and it's not because I'm that good. I'm not that good, but I partnered with Ben Kinney and Chris Suarez, and I said I'm going to just follow the playbook. And it's hard. I won't lie, it's hard, but it's pretty simple. And so I've made a commitment here for the next 5. I'm going to have 5 total classes. And I'm going to go through and I'm going to share with you exactly what I do. You may say, that's stupid. I'm not going to do that. That's no problem. But I'm making this commitment to go through that. And today I'm going to go through listings is what we're going to talk about today. Because who knows what's happening on August 17th? Yeah, things are changing, right? And so if we don't prepare for that, we're essentially flat-footed. Does that make sense? You should be ahead of the game, ahead of the curve. Let me get prepared for this, right? And now, we're all worried about how we're going to be compensated, how we're going to do this, but if I have a listing, though, am I not a little bit more in control? Okay? Is there not some logic so that every day I think about my business, the path of least resistance was, let's go sell a buyer. Let's go find a buyer. Let's go sell it to them. Let's get the commission. But if I can get a listing, okay, I'm going to have more control. Having a listing-centric mindset is going to protect you and insulate you for the next year with all the changes. Because even if you screw it up in August, you still got the friggin' listing. You'll find the solution, right? And so why not? Why not get some listings, okay? And so that's what my plan is. And here are the dates that I am planning on sharing with you, sharing with anyone who's interested. May 29th, we're going through the selling experience. Then on June 11th, I'm going to present my buyer broker agreement. This is what I do. You don't have to do what I do, but sometimes you go on stage and there's these really awesome people, and I just get so excited, and then I don't execute the shit. Okay, so all I'm going to do is actually show you what I really, because you're like, how are these people really doing it? They have these great ideas, but what's the whole thing? How does it work, right? So I'm going to share with you how it works. I'm going to teach you what I do, okay? June 26th, Mastering Your Sphere. We all have sphere, people we know. What's the system behind that? What is it you do to do that? July 10th, What are you doing for open houses? How do you make them amazing? What is the system. What is the plan for open houses? And then July 24th will be mastering prospecting. So we'll be doing reminders and what have you if you're interested in that. I think, did everyone sign in?
Oh, I didn't know.
Okay, so we'll give you all reminders of what we're doing. Okay? All right? This is me. It doesn't have to be you, okay? But what we do is we have broken down where our business comes from, okay? And the left-hand side is, and it's just our teams of, who here is an individual solo agent at the moment? Okay, great. Anybody on a team? I think we're all individual solo. Everyone's an individual solo agent, right? So you need to take away any team reference that I've got and just throw it away, okay? But those things still have to get done and figure out a solution on how am I going to do it. What am I going to get a transaction coordinator? You need to think outside the box. My phone's always there. I'll always help you brainstorm on the solution for yourselves, okay? But I'm going to share with you what we do. So take that with a grain of salt and don't think that you can't do what a bunch of people do, but you can follow what it is and get it done yourselves. Sphere, open houses, and prospecting. Because what we're talking about today are leads and listings, and we need listings, okay? So, the question comes up, how do we get listing leads? How do we get listing leads? So let me ask you guys, and I have poor handwriting, I apologize. Where are you going to find a listing lead? How are you going to do it?
Door knock, cold call.
Okay, door knocking.
Cold calling.
Okay, so hang on.
Thank you.
So you said cold calling. Who are you going to cold call?
The list from title.
Okay, cold call neighbor. I'm sorry.
Foreclosures, pre-foreclosures.
Okay, so we got cold calls, which would be a neighborhood. So when you get a list, before we move to foreclosures, which you're on the money on that, of course. If you're going to make those phone calls and do a neighborhood, like how do you want to specify that list? I mean, who you're going to call people randomly. That is the lowest common denominator as a return on investment. But I do it sometimes when I'm out of people to call. I'll do it. Right? So when you're calling cold calls, what's the list that you want to call? And so you did mention foreclosure. So it would be expired.
FSBOs.
For sale by owners. Okay? Expired, canceled, right? Now this is super broad. Expired, canceled, FSBOs. Then you mentioned something pre-foreclosure. What's a pre-foreclosure? What does that mean? You can't answer because you know all the answers.
I'm happy to thank you, buddy.
Right. In Arizona, we are not a mortgage state. We're a deed of trust state. Okay? Which means if there's a deed of trust, by law, they have to give you, it's 100, we know this from the short sale days. How many days to kill for a home to die, a mortgage to die? 180 days. Right?
A mortgage or a trustee sale?
The trustee sale, the timing on the trustee sale, you have to be past due 90 days.
And then they give you 90 more days.
And then after 90 days, they say, hey, dirtbag, there's a notice.
Wow.
It's a notice of trustee sale. Not been there, so I call myself that, okay? Back in the day, it was rough, all right? So it's a notice of trustee sale. It says, hey, by the way, you're not current, you haven't paid your mortgage, we're giving you notice that in, how many days, Sherry?
90. Oh, what? In 90 days?
Yeah, then once I give the notice of trustee sale, how many days before the trustee sale?
90 days.
Another 90 days, okay? So 180, see? So that they say, oh, it's going to be on the courthouse steps at 2 o'clock. It's going to be auctioned. They take this number. There's so much equity right now. I think it's less than 1% are actually going to go to trustee sale.
Yeah.
However, if you can capture that list on a pre-foreclosure or someone who's been given the notice, okay, then you actually have someone who's in trouble. We know they're in trouble. So that would be pre-foreclosures. Where else can I get a listing lead? Someone who wants to sell their house.
Houses.
Open house. When I have an open house, one of the first questions I ask are, hey, gosh, Anne Marie, thanks for coming in. And I found in my open house is that there's really two kinds of people. Those that are looking to buy a home, and those that are trying to figure out what's going on in the market because maybe they want to sell their house. Which one are you? Most people are.
I'm doing both.
I'm not doing it. Don't talk to me. Leave me alone. I'm just looking, right?
I'm the neighbor.
But you're going to get listing leads at open house.
Yeah.
Don't you think that's one of the most powerful, just doing open houses for, even if you do them for other agents, and that you pick up leads on the most?
Say it again.
Don't you think that the open house would be one of the most powerful ways to get leads, because you're sitting there and people coming in, and I mean.
Well, I'm an open house guy, right? I love open houses.
Yeah.
Not everyone likes open houses, okay? There's door knocking. It's just, there's a million different ways to do things. You got to pick the one that you like, okay? But the bottom line is you really want a situation where someone's raising their hand that says, I would really like to sell my house, okay? And so that's where you've got pre-foreclosure, FSBOs, expired cancels, and in the open houses, when someone's out looking at a market and they're trying to figure out the value of their home, yeah, okay? Where else can you get open house leads? I mean,
Can we stick on that for just 1 second? Because I do have a question.
Certainly.
Previous class, you said you did 30 open houses in 30 days.
Yep.
And somebody asked this question, and it got obliterated by the rest of the class,
Okay.
so it didn't get answered. How many of those open houses turned into deals?
We're working through them now.
yeah, that's a lot of data.
Is that
There's a lot. No, it's fine. It's a good question. I don't know.
Okay.
That's the straight up answer.
Okay.
Okay, which is embarrassing because I should know.
Well,
Right, because there was just so much, and then we got so busy, and I know off the top of my
I
head.
can't imagine doing 30 open houses in 30
Our
days.
team did though, that was him.
Yeah.
That's what
I
I'm saying.
did
I could
30.
not imagine doing
I
that.
did 30, they did some, so we probably had, what, 75?
But it was a kind of one of those. It was a line in the sand issue. It was just like, let's get in. Come on, let's go. It's time, right?
Sure.
So, but the reality is that the life of a lead, and we lose this sometimes because you go to these classes, you go, just do this. Oh, I want to buy my house. Oh, I want a listing presentation. Here, my sign's in the yard. And I got a check. That was amazing because I did that one thing. Isn't that awesome? But the reality is, oftentimes the lead comes in, and they are looking to sell, but they're not quite sure because they're not sure what their kids are doing, and my parents are doing this, and then it can be 12 to 13 conversations before
sure.
they get to that stage.
Sure.
Right? Now, every once in a while you get lucky and you grab it. I would say out of all of those open houses, I think we got lots and lots of leads. Lots.
Well, leads are great.
Tons of leads. But actual business that's either pended at this point or closed, I think is 2.
But you
Probably
don't know
2.
How many more
But-
will come?
Exactly.
Correct, that's my
You
point.
get a
He
lot
has
out
been
of
asked
that.
this question already by somebody else. So what he's
Yeah.
going to do is going to get you the answer when he has to answer
I
to
do.
that one person.
Yeah, on
So
Friday.
it'll be interesting on
Yeah.
Friday. He has.
I
to
told him
answer
earlier
that.
he's going to get tired of seeing my face.
Because my business partner, okay, threw this out in a Zoom call, right? And so a bunch of us, like 100 of us did it, right? About 100? How many people?
130 signed up and 100 finished. Yeah.
Out of 3,000 people, right? And
Wow.
and he's like, well, oh, by the way, here's 2 nights free at the plaza, and here's free dinners, here's this, and it's gonna be a great day on Friday. But I realized I don't know the answer to that specific question.
But he
Thanks,
has
Al.
to find out, so he's going to call
Yeah.
you. He's going to tell you. Because now you're going to keep him accountable.
I will. I will.
And he will do it. Yeah.
So what we do, okay, we also, which you guys may not, okay, but we also put sign calls on our signs, okay? So we get calls from our signs, right? That makes sense, right? We do some targeted advertising. We have ponds of lots of old, because I've been doing this a long time, which is not for you necessarily, but we have a lot of old sellers and a lot of people that may be looking to sell. So there are a lot of people we can call back to our database and say, hey, are you what's going on? Do you have any real estate related plans this year? Right? It's part of those relationship calls, right? And I think Sherry has a flyer to hand out here
I did.
somewhere.
That
Oh, you
one.
did?
Did
Oh, you
you
have it
want
on your, yeah, that one. I don't
Do
think
you want
that-
this one too? I'll go make a copy.
It's okay. If anybody wants a copy of this, we'll give it to you. This is not, who cares, right? But the sign writers, within your title companies also have predictive sellers. They can say who's most likely to sell in a neighborhood, all right? Pre-foreclosure homeowners, we got that one already. There's also the concept of a farm. That's takes time. But Melanie, you have an area that you work, or is it a group of people that you work?
I work a group of people.
And that's a farm, isn't it?
I guess.
It is.
Sphere. Yeah.
But it's your sphere, but you also are part of some organizations, aren't you?
I what? Yeah.
Oh.
Yes, I was.
You
like that
that's an old
busy.
post. Okay then. But there's people that you know. Let's say you're in a group. You're in a group of people. It doesn't. Maybe you love to play basketball. And you're in a basketball league. Maybe you're in a softball league. It's a group of people, and that can be a farm that you're reaching out to. Okay.
I do have that. You're right.
See, there you go. Exactly. There's also the idea of who's gone online to check their home value on Zillow.
Well,
Everybody does.
Everybody do.
Right. Where else? If you go on Redfin or everybody, we all have our automated valuation, right? And there's times when I didn't have it on my website, so I'd go to, what was the Arizona Republic site we used to use?
Oh, yeah. I don't remember what else.
I remember, but there's a bunch of websites that are free. Okay, you can always go out and get an automated valuation, right? But the consumer, if you're door knocking or anything else, you're getting an open house, they really want to know, well, what do you think the value of that home is, right? Right. So understanding your CMAs and getting CMAs and actually dropping them off to people is another way of doing that. And I'm going to let that go. Okay. So that's enough of that. But there's any other ideas on where else besides the things that I mentioned there in terms of where you can get your leads?
Your sphere. You can get it from your sphere.
Okay. And honestly, this is all about prospecting, right? There's a bunch of different ways to prospect. You can just start dialing through, right? That's a prospect. You have to reach out. What's the difference between marketing and prospecting?
Marketing is where you're waiting for them to make the lead or take the initiative, and prospecting is where you're
Right, maybe you made a great ad online, right? Or maybe you had this advertisement, okay? Or this amazing flyer. Or you made a post, okay? But that's a marketing material, right? And people will call you from that. That's a marketing, So it used to be that you were like marketing based. I'm going to send out mailers. I'm going to send out all these things. I'm going to mail. I'm going to send it all out and have them come back to me. Okay, that's marketing. And then you'd have like prospecting enhanced, meaning, oh, now I'm going to reach out and make some additional phone calls to surround that whole thing. Well, these days you almost need to shift it. And you almost need to be prospecting based. I'm going to go find the business and support myself with marketing behind it. Okay. What am I missing, Sherry?
Sphere was all I saw. Yeah.
Personally, it's really simple. It's the left-hand side of that wheel. My sphere. That can be a referral to someone else from that sphere. It could be that person buying it again from a past lead. Open houses on a regular and consistent basis. And then I do my prospecting, which is I'm going to call an outbound call, and I'm going to, not just to my sphere, okay, but I'm going to actually, when a new listing comes on board, we're going to actually go out there and knock on doors and say, hey, I'd like to invite you to our open house that's coming on. Hey, by the way, do you know of anyone? I've got a buyer in the neighborhood, and do you know of anyone looking to buy or sell? Really need another house in this neighborhood. I mean, that's prospecting. And you can't, if you don't, it's three legs to the stool, okay? There's a million ways to go after prospecting. But if you don't have that, your stool's going to fall over. You have to have it in some form, somehow, okay? All right. So, you got to get an appointment though, right? And I will go through my listing presentation. Am I boring you guys?
No.
Okay. Anything I need to do? Okay. Just want to make sure.
Can you do a little dance? A little song? There we go. Okay.
How's that? All right. So, people talk about, oh, I'm going to call Spires, or I'm going to go do this. But you got to get the appointment, right? So you have the leads. There's a million leads, guys. They're all over the place. But you got to know what to say, and you got to say it to the right people, and you got to say it enough times, right? And so you got to cement that appointment. And I'm going to go through my listing presentation in a bit. And we're also, anyone here in the room, I'm going to email you an editable copy of a listing presentation. You can change it up any way. Who here has an actual listing presentation completed and printed that they hand to people, or they have in their quiver?
I have a little thing that I did that I called it like my professional profile, and then I put some pages like how I do open houses, how I stage houses. I mean, a little bit of that and some reviews too.
Perfect. That's perfect. I mean, that is a marketing piece, right? But it's the sort of thing that I would encourage everyone in this room, okay, to create your listing presentation. Now, you may not give it to somebody if you don't want to, but you gotta know it, because it has to do, why should someone list their home with you? You know, and if you've written it out, okay, as I go through this, please take notes on the things that you need. If you need more information, reach out to Sherry or myself. We'll get you some more data. But create your value proposition for why you should have a listing. Why should someone list with you? Why? And you're not going to tell them that. I am a phone guy, but if you're not on the phone, okay, but it's like the question was, you know, like Melanie said, like, let's take your example. What you do with open houses. Do you know what I do in open houses to make certain that your home gets sold? No. Fantastic. Well, we should meet. I would really like to get into that with you and show you what I do, which is different than everybody else. You don't want to get into the detail of it, right? Yeah. You got to get the appointment. And how do you get the appointment? You get the appointment by having something of value that you have internalized, that you've owned in your soul. You know why they should list with you. I'm a brand new agent. I don't know what I'm doing, but you know what? I'm going to beat everyone else because I'm going to put every single ounce of my professional and personal soul into getting your home sold. And I know with my background, my education, and my personality that I'm going to do a better job than anyone. I guarantee it.
Because you're hungry.
Yeah, because you're hungry.
That's it. You know, whatever it is, there's an answer. Okay?
What about like specializing too? Are you going to talk, you know, like if somebody's into cars or somebody's into horses, they always say that you should throw that in at your listing, like saying that, you know, just kind of bringing up something that you have a real interest in and that you see agents that are specialized agents.
Well, that is a fact, okay? They say the key to success is to specialize, okay? And I won't lie. I'm really good at a lot of things, and I'm not necessarily amazing at any particular one thing, which makes, that's why I'm mediocre, I guess, right? But the reality is that that's a true statement. Also, it comes back to the sphere class, okay, which is more appropriate to that conversation, which is, what do you like? There's no wrong answer. What do you like? I like growing marijuana in my closet. Okay, well, find people who like to do that, and they'll want to talk to you about it. Okay, I mean,
oh, that came out of left field, Mark.
I don't smoke. I'm not a pot guy, but it was an entertaining conversation, right? But I mean, the reality is, what is it that's of interest to you? What do you do for fun? Anne-Marie, what do you do for fun?
We boat.
Okay, let's go there. Boating.
Yeah.
It's boating. So just boating.
I play softball. You were right.
There you go. Wow. How many are you in a league?
Yes. I have got a few clients from there.
Okay.
Yeah, same.
Just saying.
Yeah.
And to 10 plus that, wouldn't that be so cool if you actually created, you know, Melanie softball tip of the month? I mean, not that they wanted to.
I don't think I'm at that status. I play the D League. Go ahead.
But then find someone who's an A league, right?
Yeah.
Hey, I like to give a great thing out. The list goes on and on and on because we can specialize.
Or hiking.
And people want to do business with people that they like and they trust. Yeah, I know. It's true. I don't want to do business with some guy that's a jerk or some lady that's haughty. Who do I want to do business with? They're people. And we're in the people business. Okay? All right. How much time do I got, Sherry?
About 25. Which one would you say?
45
Oh, there's a
minutes.
clock right there.
How about
Look at
that?
that. It's so exciting. I forgot. Well, I'm good to go. So I got 45 minutes, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through my listing presentation But I really want to take just a minute to talk about, we danced over where you can find listing leads, and we danced over getting the appointment. Let me ask you this question of the room, so I'm clear, okay? And let's just take a break, all right? I'm going to stop the presentation. If you had an appointment this Saturday to present it's a listing appointment. If you had a listing appointment this Saturday, who in this room feels confident that they find a way to get the listing signed? Okay.
50-50.
Yeah. All right. So who in this room really doesn't know what to do if they were going to do a listing presentation, not crystal clear on what they're going to do?
Cheat on that one.
So we got a little bit of both here in the room. All right. Let me just stop here as I go through in the next 45 minutes. If you guys don't mind telling me what one particular thing, is there anything that you really want to get out of the next 45 minutes, and I'm going to make certain that I get an answer for you. Is there anything top of mind? I really need to know this. Are we cool? Mm-hmm. All right. Please, I give you permission to interrupt me, ask a question, and redirect me. Okay?
I don't know, I was just thinking everybody probably needs to know about objections, or which would be the most common ones now.
Do you have an objection that you'd like to talk about?
No, I wasn't talking to anyone in particular, but I know there always are, and we've already talked a lot about the...
Great. So let's say we're making some phone calls. Take a minute just now and just make sure we're getting through this part of it, okay? Which one of these things we want to, which one do you want? Let's pick one. Just pick one. FSBO. For sale by owner. Okay? We got a list from our title company. We get a list on LandVoice, Mojo, wherever you're getting this list. If you need to find out where to get the list, let me know. I'll help you. Okay?
Just drive around and see the signs too.
Fine. So you got a list. You got a phone number. You saw a sign. You make a phone call. Okay? So you're the for sale by owner. Okay? And you guys, you had an objection, throw it out there. We'll all be a group phone conversation. Okay? Ring, ring, ring.
Hello?
Hi! This is Carl Eisenberg, and I noticed, I was driving past your home, and I saw the number, and I see that you're selling your home. Is that correct?
Yes. Are you a realtor or an investor?
Oh, I'm actually a realtor. I've got buyers that I work with, and I make a point of always showing my buyers the homes that are out there. But I always like to make certain that the home really is still for sale.
Yeah, it is.
Fantastic. I love that. And I realize I can't find online, and I don't know if I can get a picture of your backyard. Do you have any photos or any information that I can share with my client?
Yeah, I have one. I'm trying to prevent him from coming to the house.
Okay, no worries. So, fantastic. That's fantastic. So, I've got your phone number, but I'm not a big text guy. Do you have an email address I can get from you?
Okay.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And you know, one thing, just so you know, I don't even bring this up because I'm so focused on doing the right thing for my client, but if I bring you a buyer at a price that you're willing to pay, are you willing to pay me a commission for what I do?
If I can get what I expect to get from the sale.
Fantastic. I love that. Well, it sounds like I would like to talk to you about putting you on my list because we have thousands of people in our database, and with limited inventory right now, your home, it could be a real option for them. And I'd like to put you on that list and make sure I can get that information out to my database. Would that be okay?
When you say putting it on your list, do you mean like you want to list it on the MLS?
No, I will. Are you ready to list on the MLS?
I'm not sure.
Okay.
I just had an investor.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, if you're not sure, it sounds to me like maybe you don't know what we do to sell homes that have been for sale by owner. Are you aware of that?
No, not sure.
Yeah, well, it sounds like we should meet. Is there any way I can come out and share that with you? It also gives me a chance to take a look at your home and see what the amenities are, because even if you don't hire me, I'll at least can put it in my database and go out there and sell it. How does that sound?
Okay, maybe you can tell me if I'm right on the price.
Fantastic. I would love to do that. I've got time tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Would that work?
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Perfect. I'll see you then. I didn't hear any other objections, guys.
No objections, but it brought something up in my mind. It's a totally different sale. It's one that I'm not gonna put any names on, but I know of this sale. There was an agent that was brought into the house.
Begs like 20 questions.
I'm sorry.
But it's okay.
There was an agent that was
It's all
brought
good.
in.
It's all good. It's all good, buddy. Go on.
Agent brought into the house
Okay.
3 times for the interview that you just wanted. 3 times. Spent about 7 hours total.
Okay.
They decided to use a different agent
Okay.
because she was a woman. I believe that's true because they used a man of their community.
Okay.
They listed the house. Absolutely everything this woman said would happen happened. They listed the house at near $4 million. She told them they should list it at 3.3.
So just so I'm clear, a woman had 3 different listing presentations and did not secure the signed
That's
listing.
correct.
Okay. And they listed the home with someone else.
That they, yeah.
Did that person call and say, "Gosh, I'm so disappointed. If you don't mind me telling me, what was it I could have done better?" Or who so they.
There's a division between the husband and wife.
Okay.
And because it was the husband, they went with the husband.
Fine.
The wife wanted to use.
So now I understand the situation. So what's the question?
The question is, I was going to ask you, what could they have done better to have secured that? You just pretty much told me that they should have called her, but it was already said.
You said you had 3. That this person had 3 separate appointments with this person.
With this married couple.
Okay. Together at the same time.
Yes, and in the end, the husband said that they were going to use a different agent.
Okay. Well, that gets into scripting. That gets into value proposition. It gets into with 3 separate appointments. There's a lot more to that I don't understand.
Oh, I know,
Okay.
because trust
So
me,
there's
I know.
something there. But to me, my question. Say it again.
It's a 7 hour, that's a long time.
Yeah, it is.
You get a long time.
That's it. There's a disconnect there, which somebody didn't have.
Missed the red flags on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something happened. Yeah, there was something going on. Yes, ma'am.
I had the exact same case.
Was it
The
7 hours?
mother wanted to. We actually have become friends, and who knows how many hours. And,
Okay.
she wanted it, but her son wanted to use a friend of his.
Okay.
Good.
Same thing.
Yes, but it came back to me.
I was just about to say that. I was just about to say that. The thing is, Mark, there's a hook. There's a hook. There's a possible back end. Because the listing's canceled. It didn't get sold.
Yeah,
It didn't get sold because they priced it way the hell out of the market.
There's a script that I learned.
Yes, sir. I want to hear it.
If you were to decide to list your home, do you have somebody that you have in mind that you would be using?
Right. That's a very good script.
Because
Kind
if
of
they already have a family member, I'm not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
Let's go there.
Yeah.
What other questions should have been asked?
Well, the
It's
couple
all about questions, guys.
times I can think of I didn't get the listing was usually a divorce situation where I don't think that they were all in, like, who's the actual one deciding factor on it.
decider.
So what would be the question that needed to be asked?
Who is there another deciding factor, and will you both be present at my, and I didn't have, one of them they were both present and it was very awkward. Another one, she came in at the end and she did not want to be seeing me there. So I was like, okay, but anyway,
Okay.
I guess I've heard that later. Is there more than one person deciding who's listing?
And let's not forget about those come list me calls, right? Don't go through the presentation. That is like
Which
killing,
ones?
right?
Which
Cut
ones?
to the chase.
Right.
Okay, other than that,
She didn't hear.
Which ones did you say? Don't forget about the.
come list me calls.
Oh.
If you've got a database, you've been in business, you're on social media, you're gonna have someone that you call and they're like, hey, you know what? We're ready to sell. Okay? Remember this 2-minute conversation. You have to be able to say, fantastic. So other than price, is there anything you want to go over before we do the paperwork? Just go. Close, right? And they're like, well, what are you going to charge in commission? Oh my gosh, I would love to talk to you about that. That's why we need to come out and meet, and I'll go through that with you. Other than price and commission, though, is there anything that you would like to? You got any other questions? And if there's that, then that's great. That's why we should meet. Okay? If it's just price and commission, let's go, man. We could do it on a Zoom call. We can talk about it. Let me sell you a CMA. Let's get this thing. You know what? What is today? Wednesday?
Yeah.
if I got a listing, signed listing this afternoon, probably here in Metro Phoenix, I could get it photographed. I could get that active Friday night or Saturday morning, right?
Yeah.
So what do you say we get rocking on this? I mean, I'm just saying, strike when the iron's hot. All right. So this stuff I'm going to go through. Any other? We didn't touch on it fully. That's why I'm doing a series, right? And we are, just so you know, it's open to anyone who comes to any of our classes. You don't need to join my team, okay? But we do prospecting day, right?
Mm-hmm.
We do inventory creation day on the 1st. We do call night.
The third Thursday.
Yeah, so we do these things on purpose so we can practice our scripts and then go make our phone calls together, okay? If you guys ever want to join us, you're more than welcome. Because sometimes it's nice to hang out with other people that are going through the same hell that you are. Just saying, okay? All right, so with that being said, there we go. So this essentially is my listing presentation, right? We have a really pretty one. It's like, it even feels good to touch it, but you don't have to do that. You can print this out and put it in a binder. We will be emailing you something that you can edit. You can edit it. Put your logo on it. Make it all about you, okay? It's from our CRM. We use Brevity. You may not even have a CRM. I don't care. Take the stuff out, hit the delete button and put something up, put a different slide in, okay? What is it that is your value proposition? Print it up. Go get a nice binder. Put the cover sheet in. Then you've got a list. Yep, here's my listing presentation. You may not use, you probably won't use it because you know it so well because you built the darn thing, right? But you got to know what it is that because you all have it in your soul. It's scripted. You know why people should hire you, but sometimes you fumble. So if you have it written out, you can always flip the page to it and talk about it. Okay. So my purpose here, the next 30 minutes, is just go through. It's a little dull and boring, but I'm going to share with you how I list a house. If this is like, and these people are rare, right? Usually there's circumstances that are different. There's something I want to focus on. They don't want to deal with that. I'm not going to go through something they don't want to hear about, right? I'm going to dance to it, right? But it's nice, you have to know what all this means, and you have to have it internalized, okay? So this is the cover, it would be on the outside of my binder, and then I start the presentation with them. It's all about you. I always want to be all about me. It's not. I don't matter, okay? It's about you. You know, what do you need? What are you trying to do? These are the questions. Where are you going? Why do you, so I'm so excited. So what are you going to do when we sell this home? Getting that information is super helpful. Also, just a precursor, let's say it's a traditional listing presentation. I have made a call, I made an appointment, I went to see it. Do what I say, not what I do, because I always intend to do this, and then sometimes I'm a few minutes. They know I'm right around the corner, but I'm not always there 5 minutes early. Jamie is always there 10 minutes early.
Jamie's there 15 minutes early.
Okay. So I knock on the door. Hey, how are you? It's Carl Eisenberg. We had an appointment. I'm so glad that you are allowing me to meet with you. And I love your home. I was just looking at this, whatever. I picked something that I love about the house. They bring me in, and I got my stuff, okay? And I'm going to intentionally say, hey, do you mind if I put my stuff? Sometimes they'll direct you, right? But if not, I'm going to find a table where I can sit at. If there's two people, I'm going to intentionally make a point that they are across from me because I do not want to be making this presentation. I don't, okay? I'm going to intentionally walk over and set it down. And I say, oh, they're going to say, do you want a glass of water? If they ask me something, I love a glass of water. If they ask me, I'm going to say yes, just because they want to give me something. They ask, I say yes. Then I say, hey, you know, it doesn't take me as a realtor very long to check out a home. Do you, and if I was a real pro, which I don't have, and I've done this in the past, and I haven't done it lately, but sometimes you might have a seller questionnaire. I've seen people do this before. At that point in the presentation, they go, hey, do you mind if I take a quick look at your house? And you can fill out my information sheet so I'm more aware of what it is you need. And a lot of times they go, no, let me show you the house. So they want to show you the house, right? So then I'm going to make a point of pulling out my notebook getting my pen. I'm just like, oh, fantastic. Do you mind if I take some notes? Okay? Those are the things I do, okay, to engage, have that conversation, build rapport, find the things that are good, the bad, the ugly, and the questions in my mind. Like, oh my God, how are we going to sell this thing, man? The old MLS showed 1,200 square feet. I'm like, that's bullshit. Because the tax record shows 1,600 square feet. Why would they not do that? I knew once I walked in because there was a back room that added on, but these people had put air conditioning on it. So it was clear to me that the value add for me would be, you know what, I'm going to make certain that we've got livable square footage. I am going to pay for my appraiser to come out and measure this, and I'll make sure I ask him to make sure these are all livable square footage items, so that when we can put that in the MLS, we'll have something to sell against. So that's something like, little things like that matter. Okay? But we've gone through it, we've walked through the house, we've done all that, we're sitting down, and a lot of times this is also something I can do online. This is also something that you can do in a two-step presentation in that binder that you created. Whether you do it yourself, you had it couriered, you go out and you say, hey, by the way, I'm working on your analysis, and I realized I wasn't sure exactly how you're back here. Can I just pop over for like 10 minutes real quick? The day before? Can you? At the very least, you send over information that they need to know about how to sell a house in Arizona. All your title companies will give you that till you're blue in the face. Or maybe you give them a copy of your binder in your listing presentation before you show up. That's professional. That'll blow them they'll rock them back on their heels a little bit. Because sitting down, that's why you have to be very attentive at this point, because you go through this and they don't want to hear it. You got to pay attention and be able to flip to the end, flip to the point, ask a question, but I don't want them to go through prices. I want to make sure they understand the value proposition of why they should do business with me. And the most important thing is, I care about you. What are you going to do? Where are you going to go? What are questions you've got? I'm taking notes. Okay? These are my buddies, Ben and Chris. Get to see them tomorrow or Friday. There's a nice letter that we write. It says how great we are. But there is something that I'm different, and whatever it is that makes you different, write it down. Okay? We're a team. You're not an individual. So that's not something you want. You don't want to say you're a team when you're not. I'm a solo agent, and I'm not burdened by all these team people. I'm going to be amazing because you've got 100% of my attention. Mm-hmm. That's what you're selling. Okay? My track record. You're a brand new agent. Go to My Home Group. What's My Home Group's track record? Get the data. It's all there. They'll help you. You're going to sell the brokerage more than you're going to sell yourself, or sell the group of people that you're within. Okay? Transparency. We have technology that you probably don't have, but when someone gets in our system, they log into our system. They see all the docs. They see everything that's going on in the transaction. They know exactly what's happening. Does my friend Sherry wake up in the middle of the night pulling her hair out because there's so much crap she's got input?
It's only 4:30 a.m. on that.
Okay then. See? It's all good.
Poor Sherry.
Poor Sherry.
Or Carl.
Don't poor. Jamie, should we feel sorry? We shouldn't feel sorry for Sherry. Sherry's fine. Okay? And then marketing. Whether it's true or not, no one does as much marketing as you do, for goodness sakes. And you're marketed more than you know. Even without your permission, you're marketed. Just being a part of My Home Group, you're marketed, right? But those are the 4 key principles that I'm selling when I talk about the fact that, what sets me apart. Okay? Now, this is a team. All the different things that our team does. Here's all the things that we do. And Mark and Jeremy talked about today. 180 specified activities just to sell your house. There's a lot of stuff to do. Okay? A lot. And if you forget this page, get that list from NAR, get it from Kelly, there's a million people, there's a list of all the tasks that need to be done. I sell the fact that we've got a team, and I got a lot of people behind us, and we can do things so much better than a solo agent. Say, I'm selling against a solo agent because I'm a team. You're a solo agent, you've got to sell, I'm a solo agent, which makes me better than the team because they don't have 100% of my attention. Okay? Alright, so then track record, use My Home Group. I'm Place, right? I got 300 plus partners across the country. We're $1 billion mega team. I mean, we're huge. So I can talk about the fact that we sold almost 14,000 homes last year. I can talk about the fact that we spent over $12 million on marketing. I can talk about the fact that our client satisfaction rating is through the roof. Okay, you know, and the average agent with 10 years of experience only sells 12 properties a year. Okay, and we sell a whole lot more per agent.
Average agent with how many years?
Well, if you look at it, the true numbers, which I don't have the slide here for you, but the average agent will sell, like, after the first year or two or something, is like 3 homes they've sold, you know, and then after 10 years, the average agent sells on average 12 homes after 10 years.
Gotta make it to the 10-year marker.
But you can escalate that.
I was just about to say, seems like lack of effort to me.
Don't forget, there's a lot of people that have their license and have, averages are crazy. They don't matter.
27,000 licensed agents in Maricopa County. Now, there are a lot of them that aren't producing.
They just want to sell 1 or 2 houses, okay?
Spread that
It's not a
out.
career for them, and there's nothing wrong with that. But that's the difference when you're looking at the MLS. I want to talk about average sales price versus average price per square foot. Is there a difference?
Yeah.
Huge, huge.
I wonder if the ones that are also like a hobby now with the new thing about buy a broker, maybe they say, it's not worth it. Maybe some will fall off.
I don't know. Whenever my crystal ball sucks, okay, but that's why I think that it's going to take a lot of work, and we got to be really good at what we do, and we got to step up our game professionally. It's an opportunity for that exact reason, because it's a lot harder. It's not. Gosh, that's not so easy. I don't have a free. I'm sorry, Emery, but you've had enough time. I'm just kidding. I couldn't help myself. It was fun.
Brad. I was just going to mention, I don't know how many of you are new in here, but I had a friend that changed careers, and she became, a realtor. This is a few years back, and she did a coming out party, basically. She had a big party, and she invited everybody she knew. I mean, and then she had a little thing on bio. She had a little cake as a house. She made sure everybody at this party knew this is what she changed to. This is her job. And she even gave out prizes. I mean, it was a huge party, and I was like, that was genius. So yeah, she had to spend the money for this. But I thought, because you know what, you tell friends, I'm going to be a realtor.
Emery, you're welcome to join me on my Sphere and Gear class.
But isn't that a good idea?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We get a huge amount of business from our client parties.
Yeah.
And you got to let people know what you're doing, and then
Right.
the magic and the secret sauce to that is, what do you do with it then?
Right.
Because you've got this list of people, and if you can create that value prop, and you can create an event, recurring event,
Right.
it's just awesome. All right, where am I? Transparency. You may not have my CRM. You may not be able to click a button, but your clients want to know what the heck is going on. If I'm a solo agent, I don't have a CRM. Tell them, let them know. Find a system with which you can keep them in the loop. You know what? I'm going to call you every Tuesday afternoon, just so you know. Make certain that they know exactly what's going on and when it is. You've got to touch that transparency conversation at some point, however you want to do it. Okay? So once again, this is me touting what we do, okay? But you've got to talk about, how are you going to market your home? And what are you going to do that's different than someone else? Just by the mere fact that you're talking about it, you don't have to say I'm different or I'm better or I'm bigger, because you don't have the number or the data, but you know what it is you're willing to do to help them. And so write it down, get it in your brain. Think on this thing, okay? How am I going to market this home? It's great, okay? Because we're a big tech company, that we have 1 million plus potential buyers in the network, and that we spend $10 million, marketing and servicing our listings. And then the international thing, because I got a lot of partners that have big international stuff, but I don't personally.
Like, what would you spend $10 million on traditional marketing in? Like, what does that entail, I guess, in a sense?
Just so you know how this is a spin job.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. And so Place is a network of agents like myself. Okay. I am very, in terms of my partners, I'm an equity partner in Place. and I'm one of the very smallest because I'm nice. And they said, come on, Carl, you can join us, right? So I'm dealing with people that are, they're making, well, they are. I mean, they're great guys, and it's like, but there's huge volume, okay? So if you're selling that many listings, okay, and because we're all into the same platform, it all comes into the same bucket, so we can understand our numbers, okay? That when you spend money on your photography and your flyers and your advertising, and you add all that together, that's a big friggin' number.
True.
So that's what it is, multiplied by 3,000. Okay, there's 300 something agents, plus an average team size of 10 to 15. It's huge, right?
No, that makes
Does
sense.
that make sense?
Yeah, no, that
but
makes
it looks good on a piece of paper.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? And so, but the reality is that that's that's where you say, I am going to do this, and I would take a piece of paper, and on that piece of paper I'd say, here's your time action plan, and I would list out all the things that I'm going to do as an individual agent, so they would see all of those things. But you have to articulate what it is you're doing. All right, so then I'm going to take a minute, and this is going to blow. This hasn't been redone for August yet, but we got to take a moment, and I'm going to say, I'm going to sell your house, and I'm going to sell your house because I know how to deal with the buyers that are out there, and there's different types of buyers that are out there. Okay, and people learn things differently. Okay, and I go through auditory. Everyone knows what an auditory buyer is. They want to hear it, right? Mm-hmm. There's the visual. I got to see it. Okay, and there's the kinesthetic. Okay, which is they touching and feeling and experiencing. Okay, and you have to be able to deal with all of those people. Whether it can't just be this post. Not everyone sees things that way. How are you going to sell to those people? Okay. And then we have 8 things that we've identified on what it is we're going to do to sell your house. Okay. I want you to think on those things, right? And once again, you'll have something similar to that in the editable file I'm going to send you. Okay. But what are the 8 things? All right. Well, how we price it. That's important. How it's going to show, that's important. Mm-hmm. How it's marketed, right? And then, of course, there's international marketing. And then how we communicate. Communication's key. An active buyer database, which I have. You may not yet, okay? But my home group does. You can have a conversation about the buyers that are in the market right now, and you can use the brokerage in that tool, okay? And then the partnerships, we have got the best home warranty company you've ever seen.
You do.
That's right, okay? But I mean, you want to tout that. I mean, that's the kind of conversation you want to have, okay? And then it comes down to, this market's changing, and it's different. And all of that stuff, it comes down to having someone that can really assure that you're going to sell your home for the absolute most amount of money. Because you care about how much money you're going to get at the end of this thing. Do you agree?
Yeah, then you run into that client that is absolutely unreasonable in their expectation.
Oh, okay. Fantastic. That's great. Because I want to ask more questions about that, because I want to make certain that your needs are fulfilled. Does that make sense?
Okay.
So I mean, that's an objection, but you were talking about it was more of a random complaint.
I was listening to what you were saying and just playing into it. I apologize.
No, don't apologize. My point is, if you were the consumer, at some point you're gonna say, but I want this or I want that, and that's gonna come back down to the pricing conversation. Mm-hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. And so what? All things being equal, okay, I would prefer to have a 5-5-5 strategy when I price a house. Who here is totally comfortable going on the MLS, hitting the CMA button, and doing a traditional CMA? Do you guys all know how to do that?
Yes. Yeah.
It's a process. It's also an art form, because you gotta, automate it. They hit a button. It's great to get that, but it's an algorithm. Mm-hmm. So you gotta be able to think it through a little bit, and because sometimes they're wrong. We have on our website, when they ask for a value, we give us our value, and then we say, here's what Zillow's number is. Here's what maybe wherever you get your automated numbers. We bring it to the presentation and say, well, Zillow says this, and RPR says this, and so and so said that. Redfin said this, but and here's but let's talk about pricing now. I like to talk about if there was enough inventory, 5 active listings, 5 pending or UCBs or CP, I always forget the contingent contracts, okay? And then at least 5 sold, right? But it's hard to get that many. So we've compromised with the 333. In other words, the active listings are especially in an appreciating market, you got to know who you're competing with in an active listing. What were the homes that actually solicited an offer? And what were the homes that closed? I'd love to do within a half mile, 90 days back. That's great. Sometimes you got to change it up. Larger, okay, longer time period. And this is old school when it comes to pricing, and you're dealing with people who don't have it to answer your question, okay? What do you think about, what price do you think your home is worth? When you're having the conversation with that unreasonable person, you want to ask that question straight up. Fantastic, why do you think that? Oh, that is so interesting, that's wonderful. Hey, do you know how we price homes? Are you familiar with how we price our homes?
Are you asking me a question, or is that rhetorical?
Well, it's both. But if you ask that question, fantastic, that's why we should meet. Okay? And if you feel, depending on who you're dealing with, that this person's an engineer or someone who really wants to pay attention to that detail, you sure as heck better print out those detail sheets and say, so here are the 3 homes that are for sale right now that I think are the most, or the 5 or whatever you got, that are the most distinct competition. Have you seen any of these homes? Yep, we've been through all those open houses, they're a piece of crap. Fantastic, what's different about yours and theirs? Same thing with the pending this one. You got to dig into that. Does that kind of help?
With this particular individual, I'm telling you, they're unreasonable. They're totally unreasonable because they're comparing houses. They're comparing their house, no casita, to a house with a 1,200 square foot casita.
Okay.
Totally unreasonable.
So we don't want to get too far down this bunny.
I know.
Okay, but no. But
You started in on me. I was
so let's just go there. Okay. So we've gone through everything. We looked at the numbers, and you've come up with a number that is completely not what mine is.
Oh, like $500,000 off.
Fantastic. I'm not perfect at all, and and I make mistakes a lot. Okay, and I hear what you're saying because I've had situations where I had a buyer that said, or a seller that said this, and I thought they're crazy, but they got it. So you may be spot on because you know so much about your home. Now, just so you know, when people are buying your house, okay, when they're coming to buy your home, there's different kinds of buyers. Excuse me. Would you agree that are these people going to be cash buyers, finance buyers, or a little bit of both, do you think?
At the price they were asking, they would have had to have been full cash buyers.
Fantastic. So the problem that what really worries me, is that there's going to be people like me that aren't looking at your home necessarily the way that they should. And I think that we should maybe take the next step to be a little bit different. I'll tell you what. Why don't we do this? Let's get it appraised. And you know what? I'll pay for it. I'll give you credit, close the escrow. I'll pick up that expense.
That's
okay?
if you sign with me.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Absolutely.
Even if they're not, they can still use it.
No, you're not going to pay for an appraisal for them if they
Yeah,
don't sign.
no.
with you.
That close of escrow from my earned commission.
Yeah.
See, you smell what I'm sucking in?
Yeah, sure enough.
You're right. You are so smart. I'm so glad you brought that up. I must be missing something. Let's get an appraised value on this, and I want to make certain though that you get all the list of things that are important, and I want to make sure that you talk to that appraiser when they come in, because guess what? They don't work for the buyer. The buyer's going to have to get their own appraisal if they're going to get one, and you'll be able to manage this as best as possible. We'll get the very best price possible from a licensed appraiser. What do you think?
So you're telling the seller that they need to pay for an appraisal?
No,
Right?
No.
not at all. What he's saying is,
But the seller's paying for it up front.
Yeah.
They're gonna get reimbursed at the end.
Right.
Depending on the listing, I've had like multi-million-dollar listings that I paid for the appraisal up front because I wanted the friggin' marketing. I wanted that $3 million listing, and I wanted to get other listings from it. And it was worth the $800 to give to my buddy Jay Josephs, okay?
Yeah.
I didn't like it, but I've done it. Now, do I advise it? No, because that's cash out of hand, and you don't know that you're going to get it. You have to have a real specific marketing reason for making that decision. But if you can go there and say, look, bottom line is, and in my listing present, what I do in my listing agreement, my language, I allow you at any time to fire my ass. I've been in sales for my entire adult life, and I know that if I'm working for someone who doesn't want me to do the job, it's not going to work. There's no for sure, okay? I agree to put it in there with written notice, either party can cancel. That's hardcore. It means I have a lot of pressure. I got to perform, and they've got to be willing to perform too.
But that shows your confidence too.
Right, and there comes a time when this is not the right deal. You shouldn't take the listing. If they're going to be not so good about it, don't take it.
Yeah.
Walk away. Walk away.
Some people are more of a headache.
Yes.
You gotta walk away
Sometimes,
from
yeah.
them, yeah.
So anyway, this is the CMA, the analysis that we do. We figure it out. Sometimes you have sometimes here in Arizona, you've got that subdivision. Right, it's a Shea, it's a Richmond American. They're all. There's like 10 models. Here it is. Wow, these comps are perfect. There's zero question that this thing is worth $623,420. Okay, it's right there. Right, so, but unfortunately for me, I don't run into those very often. Okay, but sometimes you get them, and it's great. All right, I'm going to go through all the things that I do. From we use Rocket Lister. Okay, they're affordable. And Lower Lister, Sister, whatever they're called these days.
They're all much the same thing.
Yeah, but the reality, even though it's like one person shows up, takes the photos, does all the work, and it's affordable, I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about this professional photography, and we're going to edit. We're going to help you with your staging. I'm going to help consult with you in terms of how we're going to get the things repaired the right way. We're going to be able to do virtual showings and virtual, not that we want to do that, but we all have the opportunity to do that. We have professional videography. We do all of those things. And so online, you're all online. All of you. Every one of you. You guys, IDX has gone out to every single, when you get that thing listed, it's everywhere. But why not tout what you have? It's there, right? And you're gonna, buyers, this is from NAR, I think, okay? 50% of the buyers found it from online exposure. They're sitting there scrolling through. That's where they're going to find it to begin with. 28% found it from a real estate agent, and 22% from traditional marketing. So it's critically important that the online presence rocks. Critically important, okay? And you want to make sure that you got the right vendors to help you. Maybe some of you are really talented in that area. I'm not. I'd hire someone to help me with it. We market at the top agents. We do. We're in the MLS. We're going to continue to market. Thanks, Anne-Marie.
Thanks, guys. I'm sorry to leave.
See, aren't you glad I had you do it at the beginning?
Yes.
Okay, then.
I didn't realize I was going to this.
Yeah.
Great information. Thank you, guys.
Didn't realize you were going to talk. All right. And then, of course, there's internet marketing in the marketing. So my point is, I have this, so I'm going to tout it. Doesn't matter what you have. You have an internet team. You have a technology team. You have all the things that my home group has, or any brokerage that you're in. You're EXP, right?
Yes.
Right. Anybody else? Who else is in another brokerage?
Best Home.
Best. I mean, 2 fantastic brokerages, and each one of those brokerages have got friggin' so much stuff that you can use, right? And both of those brokerages have listing up presentations that you can steal from, rip off, and duplicate. It's important. Okay.
Plagiarize to the hill.
Well, it is what it is, guys. And so why not take what's out there and make it your own? Don't be dishonest, but take what's out there. And why spend time doing a bunch of things that someone else has already done? That's crazy, right? And so brokerage websites, that's great. Best, EXP, all those things. And it's just, you want to take advantage of every other brokerage, and you want to tout the fact that you're comfortable in your role in dealing with all the other brokerages that are out there, as well as all the different listing portals that we've got with Zillow and Realtor.com, etc., etc. Search engines, I don't know much about this. I don't talk much about it, except that I do advertise on it, and I do get leads from it. Because once we started turning our database more than 3 times a year, you can over talk to people, right? So we're buying. I make sure that we buy leads for the team. And then of course there's social media. There's a whole section in here that I deleted that talked about the power of Craigslist, and I just don't. I'm not a Craigslist fan here in Maricopa County. So once again, now see how you guys are kind of lulling off into a sense of boredom to a certain extent here. I have to watch my audience, okay? There's times that I'm going to jump to the chase, okay? Because I can take a lot. See, Melanie's yawning on cue. That's awesome. Thank you. All right, but the reality is you want to talk about the fact that I'm going to get up and I'm going to find the buyers. I'm going to. That's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to make sure there's a sign in the yard. I can't tell. We get leads all the time from signs, and then we have
Ryder?
we do both. We have a for sale sign. I didn't know what she was commenting. They're just talking. So then we have a sign writer it's a technology. It's a text for lead service. Okay, text Carl at this number so it gets all the listing information. But then of course that feeds into the website. So then that's the lead that we can then deal with. But you still are going to get sign calls, right? And there's always. Oh, I'm even making Sherry yawn.
Sorry.
Okay.
4 minutes, Carl.
Okay, I'm hurrying, guys. I'm hurrying. All right. Networking, print advertising, and then international buy. Anybody do international business? Okay. I have started. I sold a couple buyers that are suppliers to the Taiwan semiconductor plant. I mean, I think that our market here, we're getting more international buyers, and I think it's important to pay attention to it. Bottom line is we're going to get great feedback. We're going to get the feedback, and this is important. You may not have the technology that we have. Who cares? Pick up the phone and talk to your client, and you're going to talk about how you're going to do that. Create a piece of paper that says, my feedback is fantastic. I'm going to call every single person. Like, who is reliant on a line showing feedback or showing kind of feedback? I mean, the reality, you should make a phone call.
Yeah.
Get into it. What's going on? Is there anything I can do that can help you? I had that happen a couple times the last month or two, where by me calling, it got them thinking, and I was like, well, what about this? And we were able to put a deal together.
You're speaking from the listing side or from the buying side? What were you just saying? I'm sorry, I didn't follow.
I'm a listing agent.
Okay.
You showed my house.
Right.
You gave me feedback on the line showings, and I didn't even have a customizable survey. They just said, do you like the house? And click, 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 done. Right? I don't even pay attention to it. I don't follow. But I should call. So hey, you showed my house last Friday, and I want to get back to my clients. Was there any interest at all? No. Do you mind? I really love your feedback. I mean, what do you think's going on with that house, and what can we make some changes on? Actually, get the feedback and enter it myself. Give it to my client.
That's funny. I showed 7 houses on Saturday to the same client, and I only had 4 of those people four of the listers call me back for feedback. I did get the road, auto-generated from Alliance, but not. Right.
Exactly. Once you've done this a while, we all have buyer databases. Don't forget the strength of that, guys. Okay, I do it I've got the technology for it, which is easy. But who cares? You've got past clients. If you don't have past clients, go to my home group. You're going to reach out to them. Okay. And then it comes to the negotiations. You have so many chances to negotiate throughout this transaction, and that is the key. Okay, to making certain that your value proposition makes it happen. Your ability to negotiate that deal for them. And then the global approach, I'll skip through that. And then I promise them, they're going to be happy. If they don't like it, they can fire me. So that took longer. Very rarely do I go through every single one of those things, right? Depends who I'm working with. I know I'll flip to it. It's in your binder. You take it with you, flip to it. I don't like paper. I've got it on my iPad. Great, scroll through it. But having it there so that you can talk about your value proposition, and having it there so that when you're making that phone call, you can say, hey, are you aware of what we do to make certain that our IDX situation, are you aware? God, I'm just curious, do you know about this? Just ask the question that you've already created in your listing presentation. Is a question you can ask that gives you the opportunity to say, gosh, sounds like we should meet. You should probably have 4 or 5 or 6 of those soft closes during that phone conversation, because you want to get the appointment. And once you get the appointment, you want to know what you can say about it. Look, everyone's still awake. I'm so excited. Look, Sherry, it's 3 o'clock. Yay! Okay. Questions, issues, concerns, anything?
It's 2:58. You have 2 more minutes.
Oh, the clock is wrong? Oh, see, I
They
finished early.
sped it up just for you, Carl.
Okay, that's awesome. So anyway, that's our technical listing presentation. We will email you an editable copy of what Brivity has. You can change any way you want. I know that Arizona Best, right?
Best homes.
Best Homes. I know that Best Homes has this stuff. My home group, buried in there somewhere, probably has a listing presentation. EXP's like, they got a million things
Yeah.
you can grab. Create your listing presentation, guys. Practice it. Okay? And do it if within this group. You need help, call me, I'll set it up. Practice your present it. Have a pretend, here's a home, do the CMA. Practice. Practice makes perfect.
Okay, I got a good question for you.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you deal with clients that tells you they want to communicate through WhatsApp?
I've had that before.
Yes.
You do? They're legit? I'm getting a bunch of them, and I'm just like, they're all from China, this and that.
Oh,
just
I
like
would-
Mine are
Chinese people.
in
Yeah.
Arizona,
So,
but
I won't
yeah, some
respond.
people want to.
I will. This is important because you get those. The thing is, do I delete it or do I respond to it? Is that the question?
Well, I'm sure you respond to it, but I just,
Entertainment.
to transfer from a text to a WhatsApp, I'm just like, what's the point? Like, you can, if you're texting me,
I don't trust it. First off, it raises a million red flags. But I've had deals where I had to communicate on WhatsApp when my clients were traveling overseas. I've had overseas clients because it's
Listen if you know.
affordable. They don't have to pay for it, right?
You
So-
don't have to pay for Facebook Messenger either. You can send it that way.
Great.
So WhatsApp, I'm always suspicious when they send me something through text and then they go, let's switch over to the web. And
Yeah.
I have one man who's given me his phone number, but he only wants to text.
Mhm,
So if I
exactly.
try to call him, he says, send me a text.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't.
So you need to make it. But personally, if someone's unwilling to actually speak with me, I'm uncomfortable with that. How do I know it's not AI? How do I know that they're not whatever? I want to have a conversation, right? That's me. So you have to decide what you're willing to do. But I would ask, what are the questions I want to ask, right? Because if you're engaging, fantastic. You know what? Can we just pop on a Zoom call real quick? I'd like to have a communication with you. Oh, that won't work? Well, what about Google Meet or Teams? Oh, you won't do the video thing. Well, you can have a phone conversation on WhatsApp. Well, great. Let's have, before we get to that, I'd like to have a conversation with you. I want to make sure, because my service proposition is based, everything that I do from a value proposition point of view is about my ability to communicate. So it's critically important to me that I know that I can communicate properly with you because I don't want to let you down. So I really need to have a phone conversation with all my clients. Happy to communicate with you moving forward, but I want to make sure we're on the same page. I mean, most of those people they're not going to agree to that.
Yeah.
Right.
Or they don't respond, and then when they
There's your answer.
When they don't respond, there's your
There's
response.
There's your answer.
Yeah.
That's why I don't want to waste my time. It's
Yeah.
like,
And your time's valuable.
When they want
Yeah.
to transfer over to email, that's when you should be suspicious too. I guess I'll be like, hey,
I think you should always be suspicious.
I know, you're right.
You know.
But at least in email, they're putting it in a time-stamped.
But I think if they get your email is when it can be open. to
But it's
scamming.
so easy to get people's
I
emails
know.
these days.
They can
There's
get
so
your
many
email.
different ways they can do it.
I mean, they can get your email. I mean, you're all over.
Look
the
how they
internet.
get all our clients' phone numbers when there's a cancellation or expired.
Oh, yeah.
They get them, you know.
With all the phone numbers we get. And so I think.
Thanks,
So-
Paul.
So I mean, I think it comes down to personal preference, and you got to make a decision. Did we? Is there anything that we sparked today that's going to help you? Is there any questions that you've got? What I was hoping to gain from this is that you guys would have a commitment of writing down what your value proposition is, so that you can communicate it to your clients. Who is committed? You don't have to use my listing presentation. You don't have to use the one I sent you. Who's committed to writing down what it is they're going to give as a value proposition to their potential listing agents, listing clients? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. I think that's important. Yes, sir. Is that a question?
No, that's
You
just
just, you're just agreeing.
just
Awesome.
agree.
Any other questions, issues?
what's your phone number? How do we reach you?
Teresa.
You can reach me at my direct cell number is
The updated
602
seller's name and zip code.
432
She's like, where your contract's from. You
4210.
just sent out a settlement statement yesterday.
Can you read that again? 602?
Yep, 602
Writes the contract.
432
She has the settlement
4210.
statement with all the correct- She's from the addendum.